Most gardeners fail with tomatoes in containers because they treat it like a smaller garden bed instead of understanding how drastically different the growing environment is. The soil dries out faster, nutrients leach quicker, and roots get stressed more easily. If you ignore these realities, your tomatoes will end up stunted, bitter, or loaded with flowers, but almost no fruit. I've learned this the hard way, and over years of testing both raised beds and hydroponic setups, I can tell you that container tomato growing is a skill you can master, but only if you approach it differently from traditional garden planting. Before we dive into specifics, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Farm Logic focuses on actionable, practical strategies, not fluff. If you grow your own food, the goal isn't just to fill containers with soil, it's to get steady, flavorful harvests all year round. The first mistake people make is thinking garden soil will work fine in a container. It won't. Garden soil compacts, drains poorly, and encourages root diseases in confined spaces. For container tomatoes, I've had the best results using a mix that's roughly 50% high-quality potting soil, 25% compost, and 25% coarse, inert material like perlite or coconut coir. This mix balances water retention and drainage. Too much organic matter without aeration leads to root rot, while too little leaves plants wilting and nutrient-starved in days. For a standard 20-inch diameter container, that means about 15 litres of potting soil, 7 litres of compost, and 7 litres of perlite or coir. Fill your containers lightly at first, then water thoroughly to settle the mix before planting. People assume any tomato variety will thrive in a pot, but that's far from true. Determinate bush-type tomatoes are often recommended because they stay compact, but experience shows you can grow indeterminate varieties too if you manage support and nutrients carefully. In my hydroponic tests, indeterminate types produced more fruit over a longer season, provided I used strong stakes or cages and kept the feeding consistent. For small backyards or patios, cherry tomatoes are ideal. They fruit heavily, respond well to pruning, and handle container conditions better than beefsteak types. I can't overstate this. Container tomatoes are thirsty, and inconsistent watering is the #1 reason people fail. Unlike garden beds, containers can dry out completely in just a day under hot sun. I use a dual approach, daily checks by touch for small containers and for larger setups, a drip irrigation system delivering roughly 2 litres per plant twice a day during peak growth. Always water deeply until water drains from the bottom. Shallow watering encourages surface roots, which are prone to drying out. Mulching the top with about 2 to 3 centimeters of straw or shredded leaves reduces evaporation significantly, but it's not a substitute for consistent watering. Even the best soil will exhaust itself quickly in a container. Tomatoes are heavy feeders, especially during fruiting. I feed mine every 7 to 10 days with a liquid fertilizer at roughly 10 grams of balanced NPK per 10 litres of water, but I alternate with a higher potassium feed during fruiting. Potassium encourages flavour, size, and colour. Compost teas work well too, but you can't rely on compost alone. For example, in a 15-litre container, I'll mix about 1 teaspoon of granular tomato fertilizer into the top layer of soil once a week, then water it in thoroughly. Keep in mind that container-fed plants can develop nutrient burn if over-fertilized, so always start slightly weaker than the label suggests and adjust based on leaf color and growth rate. I see so many container growers letting plants sprawl or self-support, and it's a recipe for low yields. In containers, space is limited and every leaf matters for photosynthesis efficiency. For indeterminate varieties, I pinch off suckers below the first flower cluster, then train 1 or 2 main stems up a stake or trellis. This directs the plant's energy into producing fruit instead of excess foliage. Determinate varieties don't require heavy pruning, but removing lower leaves that touch soil or container edges reduces disease risk. In my hydroponic setups, I've gone as far as topping plants after the fifth cluster to maintain manageable height and maximize fruit quality. If you want fresh tomatoes year-round, you need to think beyond summer. Container plants can be moved or protected far easier than garden beds. In cooler months, I bring containers indoors near a south-facing window or into a greenhouse. Maintaining soil temperature around 20 to 25 degrees Celsius ensures steady flowering and fruit set. If that's not possible, use thermal blankets or cloches to insulate the soil and roots. Heat mats work wonders for starting seedlings early indoors, giving you a jump on the growing season without stress. Crowding containers is a common mistake. Each plant needs airflow to minimize fungal diseases and maximize photosynthesis. In small patios, spacing containers at least 50 centimeters apart and rotating them occasionally for sun exposure reduces leaf wetness and mold issues. In my hydroponic racks, fans provide consistent air movement, which also strengthens stems and improves pollination. Remember, tomatoes are self-pollinating, but gentle shaking of flowers or air movement encourages better fruit set. One overlooked factor is pollination, especially for indoor or greenhouse setups. Hand pollination with a small brush or electric pollinator improves fruit set by ensuring flowers are fertilized consistently. Even outdoor container plants benefit from occasional flower vibration, especially during still hot weather when bees are less active. In my experience, skipping this step can cut yields by 30% or more. Unlike garden beds, containers are closed systems. Old soil accumulates salts, loses fertility, and harbors pathogens. At the end of each season, I either replace at least half of the container mix or refresh with compost, fresh potting soil, and perlite. Adding a tablespoon of lime per 15 liters of soil balances pH if you notice yellowing leaves due to mild acidity. This simple habit drastically improves plant health and fruit quality year after year. Container tomatoes still attract aphids, whiteflies, and spider mites. The advantage is early detection. You can see infestations at a glance. I use insecticidal soap or neem oil at the first sign of pests, and I remove heavily infested leaves immediately. Because containers are smaller than garden beds, pest populations can explode in a single week if ignored. Consistent monitoring is easier in pots, so treat this as part of your daily routine, not a reactionary step. Ultimately, container tomato success comes down to consistent care. Soil balance, watering, fertilizing, pruning, and temperature control all need attention throughout the plant's life. You won't get away with the set it and forget it approach that works in larger garden beds. But if you commit to these practices, you can achieve incredible results. Lush foliage, abundant flowers, and high-quality fruit every month of the year, even on a balcony or patio. If you want to take your container tomatoes to the next level, track each plant's growth, feeding, and fruiting. Over time, you'll see patterns specific to your microclimate, container size, and tomato varieties, and you can tweak the system for maximum yield. These adjustments make the difference between mediocre harvests and truly exceptional ones. Container tomato growing is not easier than garden beds. It's different, but the rewards are huge: total control over soil, water, and nutrition, fewer diseases, and the ability to harvest fresh tomatoes year-round. It's not magic, it's just understanding the system and applying what actually works. If you're serious about growing better food and want more practical strategies like this, subscribe to Farm Logic. Share this video with anyone struggling to get tomatoes to thrive in pots. Real, reliable results come from hands-on experience and knowledge, and that's exactly what we focus on here. With a few containers, the right soil mix, and disciplined care, you can turn any backyard, balcony, or small greenhouse into a continuous tomato-producing powerhouse.